Hello friends, welcome to the latest content of my developer series blog, a ride management application designed for trucks or service vehicles. As I mentioned before, this is a community project, so you'll find entire source code without any licensing issue. So in the first video, if you remember, I covered some basics of the application. We designed a UI UX default, data model, error validation, etc. In next video, we implemented a functionality which toggles between dark and light modes. We also implemented the backend authentication methods. In today's session, we are going to continue to write the code, and we are going to address one very specific functionality, how to address the file loads and display images in your Flutter application. We're going to use one very specific Flutter package called image picker on this application. Now, before I do that, let me show you a quick demo so that you understand what is the requirement here. So as you can see in my application, if you go to the settings page, so for example, in this instance, you want to have a requirement that users should be able to upload their document or pictures or anything like that. So here, I have included two different buttons. One, if you click on that, it opens another upload document material page here, and the other one displays the pages. So once you're on uploading the document, it lets you pick any image and upload it. And once you click on that upload file button, what it does, it uploads that particular image to the backend application. All right. And then if you click on the display document, simply it just retrieves that image and shows it on your user screen. So this is the exact functionality we are going to implement in this application. All right, so let's go get it started and let's open our VS Code. And first thing we are going to do, we are going to add this Flutter package called image_picker. So let's open our VS Code here. Inside that VS Code, let's browse to the directory where your public_spec.yaml file is. So in my case, everything is under delivery directory. So cd into delivery, and there, make sure that you have that public_spec.yaml file located here. And then all you need to do, flutter pub add image_picker. So it may take a few seconds to finish. Okay, now my image_picker package is added to my Flutter application. So now let's go head out to the file where you want to add that functionality to. In my case, because we are adding this functionality into settings page, so let's go head out to settings.dot file here. First thing you have to do, you have to import those packages here. So there are four different things. So for image_picker, definitely that's the first thing you want to import here. So import package image picker dot. Okay, there are a couple of other things I want to import. And this is parse server SDK Flutter. We have already imported at the main.dot level because I'm going to use a couple of functionality here. So that's why I read it over here. Okay. Other things, you need .io package here. Okay. And then foundation.dot. All right. So now next thing I want to do here, because so in settings page, first thing I want to do, I want to add two buttons here. One is going to do very simply, if you click on that button, is upload that. It's going to open the upload page. Other one opens the display page. So let's go head out to the bottom of this page where those buttons are. So I just want to, after the reset password or somewhere there, I'm going to include an elevated button. So elevated button, and first button, what I'm going to do, as you can see, elevated button, it requires an on-pressed method should be defined here. So on-pressed here, what I want to do, on-pressed, and then so when the user clicks on this button, I want to route it to another material page route. And then it comes back. So the reason I'm using navigator.push, because I just want to go to that different page momentarily and want to come back. So, and that page is going to be the save page, and you can name it anywhere you want. So simply, as you can see, elevated button, what it does, if you click on that button, navigator.push, and it opens up another material page, which is called save page. Now let's give it a name to this button. We'll call it a upload documents. Now simply, because we need two different buttons. So let me, copy this whole thing here. And I want to include a spacing in between there. So I'm going to include a container, and then let's add this elevated button. I will just copy this and copy paste it there. But this time, instead of because this is a display document, so I'm just going to, send it to a different page. It's going to call it a display page, and now child text, and I'm going to call it a display document. So here, briefly what we have done, we have added two different buttons. One, if you click on that, opens a save page. Other one opens up the display page. So now we are going to create these two different widgets which achieves this functionality. All right. So first thing we want to do is save page. Now again, save page is a stateful widget. So we are going to do class save page extend stateful widget, and I'm going to create a state of this. So class save page state extend states of type save page. Now here I'm going to create that widget which actually opens up that image picker image picker page. So because all these images are eventually what are those are? Those are files. So again, in Parse Server SDK, there is a specific file type called picked file. So I'm just going to define a variable of that picked file as of type picket file, and then there's another boolean I want to create is loading, and you will see that in a minute what is loading does. Okay, and now let's create that widget where all I'm going to do, I'm going to put all of this thing together inside that image. So again, this is scaffold vignette. It simply will have an app bar. I'm going to call it a upload document, and in the body part, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a column. Now inside that column, let's go decorate it a little bit. So I'm going to say cross alignment. So inside that column, the first children I want to create here, I want to show that image picker. So in this column, I want to first include couple of size boxes. So again, these size boxes are only used to create some spacing between components here. Now between this, let me fix this size box. Constant C is not in caps. All right. So first thing I want to include, so I want to create a gesture detector. So what it does, in this gesture detector, I want to show a button saying, what, go ahead, and if you click on this, go and pick up the image. So here, first thing I want to do here, that if the user has already picked the file, then I want to show him something else. So here, let's go include, in this gesture detector, I want to include a condition first. So first I will say if picked file is not equals to null, that means user has already picked up the file, then show him another container. And if user has already the file, that means picked file is not equals to null, then show another container, right? So let's go put another container here. And let's write the condition for picked file which is equals to null. That means like an else statement. So let's come over here. Right here. So what I want to do here, let me just give a width and height. And here I want to simply display a text which says, okay, go ahead, and if you click on this, go pick some images from the gallery. Okay, so this is when the picked file is equals to null. Now let's go right here if the file is not equals to null. So here what we want to do, let me decorate it. Same decoration, width, height, Control C, Control V. All right. So here what we want to do here. Now let's go as a child. I want to call, there's a special variable is called k is web. So what it does, because again, this code, this is a Flutter, and Flutter is we are building a web application. You can also use it for iOS or Android application. So first k is web is simply telling you that it is this code is executed on a web browser or not. Okay, so if k is equals to web, simply what you want to do, you want to call the image.network. Otherwise, you just call the image.file. Otherwise, they both are doing the same thing. So simply what you're doing, whatever file you have just picked up, take that path and display it here. Okay. Now let's go write that on tap event here. So now here we are going to simply use that image picker we have added. So simply image picker has a method called pick image, and all you need to do, pick image, it accepts a source. Now define whatever image we have picked, just give that path, that image to source.gallery, and pass it to source. So, and that's it. So, and then you have that image which you just use, which you picked up from the image picker, and you have that in your variable, image2 is code here. I'm going to convert this image to a picket file of type picket file. Okay, and if image is not equals to null, because it's again is a widget. So what we want to do, we want to change the state of that picket file. So that's why I'm calling that, I'm going to assign that image to the picket file variable what we just created. So far we created that particular widget which allows you to to upload that image, but we have to also include a button here. So what that button does, that button simply it calls that image picker. So let's go size it a little bit more, and then create another container here. Inside that container I'm going to include another elevated button which simply will say upload file. So once you click on that, it's going to call that gesture detector what we have just created. All right. So let's go style it a little bit more. And here again, because because we know that if the file is already loading, that means and of the file is equals to null. So that means there is no file picked up till now. Then you don't want to do anything. But if the file is already out there, then you want to show that Boolean variable saying is loading equals to true. So now this is again assuming that if the file is not equal to null, so that means you have already file stored in a variable. Now is the time to actually save it. So I'm again going to reuse that Boolean method or variable k is web, because it works different. The code is a little bit different for the web and iOS. So for the web, simply I want to call it a parse web file method. Or otherwise you just call it parse file. That's the only difference. And what I'm doing here, I'm just taking that file what we have just user has uploaded, which is stored into a variable, and then I'm going to simply say parse file dot save. So what is going to do is going to take that file what user just uploaded, and is going to access the backend, and there is a collection called gallery. It's like I say, think about gallery is a table out there. So inside that gallery table is going to paste that file and save that file. That's all this code is doing. All right. So I think that's pretty much it. That's what get the job done. So we have created the component, the widget, which lets user pick it from their gallery, and then once you have it, you save it, and then you want to show a message when the file is uploaded. So I'm just going to include a piece of code called scaffold messenger, and simply it's just a snack bar that your file has been uploaded successfully. All right. So I think that's pretty much it. That's all you need to do in that upload component. So now let's go back to the second button what we just created. So we have created the uploaded functionality. Now let's go create another widget, another stateful widget, which is display page. So again, class display page, which is a stateful widget. Now let's go create that state. So override display page state. Now let's go define that state, extend states of type display page. All right, so here I'm going to create another widget here, and this widget I'm just going to make it another scaffold widget here, and let's go create an app bar. App bar title should be display gallery, and the body, again in the body part, let's go create a future builder, because here we are just simply displaying all the list of all the images what we have uploaded, and so that's why I'm using that future builder. And here the future is going to be that function which retrieves that get the galleries, get the images from the backend, and we are going to define that get gallery list in a minute. And the builder is actually where the builder accept it has two parameter, context and snapshot. So if it has the value, it's going to show that. So let's go first define that future here, get gallery list. Again, it's a simple backend method. It's simply what it does, it accesses your Back4App database, and it just displays, it fetches that parse object gallery collection what we created earlier. So again, and because it's a list, so that's why I'm just going to say it's a list of parse objects, is an async method here. Let's go build a query here. So query builder, parse object, query publisher. And here I'm going to say query builder, which is again parse object, and gallery is the name of the collection, the table name where we have uploaded all the files. And then I'm going to order it by ascending. Let's go create it. So by default, when you create a collection in Back4App, so it creates a field called created at. So I'm going to get all the fields, get all the files by descending order. Now let's go execute this, and if API response is equal to success, is not equal to null, then I want to return the results as a list of all the parse objects. Otherwise, just return null or blank. Okay. So simply what this function, as you can see, it's just going to is going to go to the backend and get a list of all the objects as a parse files, all the parse objects. Okay. So now we have created the future. Now let's go create the builder. Simply in the builder, as you can see, if a snapshot, so we have to get the snapshot state first. So snapshot.connection state. So if snapshot connection state, that means there is nothing in the snapshot, or is waiting, then show something else. If it is not waiting, then I want to show the list of the images. That means you have the future has already successfully retrieved all the files from the backend. Then you want to show those images. Otherwise, just show the circular progress indicator. Okay. So now let's go put another condition for a snapshot. So for example, if a snapshot has error, so in that case, I want to display some error message. So let's say snapshot.has error, just simply show a text widget saying error. Otherwise, if now we are assuming that, a snapshot does not have error. So let's go create a list view.builder. And again, it takes two different parameters, item count and the list view builder. So item count is equal to snapshot.data.length. And let's go pass that item builder here. Now inside that item builder, again, you have to write code two different ways, one for web and other is one for iOS or Android. So let's go. Simply, all I'm going to do, take that snapshot data and do the index. That means, like, is because it's a list, so I'm doing one item at a time, and then get that file and display that file. And how you display the file? Simply you say image.network, and then you pass the path of that particular file, what you have just gathered from get gallery list. All right, I think that's pretty much it. I know I went a little too fast on this code here, but once you write this and see this in action, it will make more sense to you. So I hope this you find this video very useful. If you have any issues, please feel free to open an issue log at my GitHub repository, and I'll be happy to help you out. Thank you.